I hope everyone is doing great. This is Pratishtha, your IELTS trainer. Um, Previously, we have learned some critical grammar concepts. We went through also some reading points in the last lecture. In this lecture specifically, we are going to see how to create summaries. I have already mentioned that creating summaries, even while you're reading, and your writing is especially important. You should be able to summarize. It's also in general pretty great for your I would say your learning skills in general, your note taking. So creating summaries are super important, and in this lecture we are going to learn about how to create summaries. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen. Right. So in today's writing session, we are going to see how to summarize text effectively, understand the key elements of a good summary, why is summary writing important, and why should you be able to write a good summary, right? And then practice summarizing various types of text. So various types of text basically means your articles, um, like reports, essays, etc. Right? So let's see. What is the importance of summarizing? Why should we be able to summarize? It helps in identifying the main ideas and key points of a text, right? So whenever we need to find the main ideas and the key point means like the main points, the key words of the text, then summary is extremely important. It improves comprehension and retention of information. So it improves comprehension, especially while you're also doing reading comprehensions and things like that. It helps you understand in a better way. It helps to retain the information. Retain means keep in your mind. So if you remember when we were also doing reading, what I was telling you about is that reading is pretty long in IELTS, right? So after every paragraph, just write like 1 or 2 lines about what this paragraph is about. It will help you retain that information in your mind. It is essential for academic and professional writing. So, of course, any kind of summary is important in general life as well. It has a lot of importance and it enhances critical thinking and analytical skill. Key elements of a good summary. How do we know that this summary is good? It will be concise. Concise means it would be small. It will not be like extremely long or large, but at the same time, it is going to have all the important information. So we will omit everything that's extra. We will just focus on the important information that is there. It will have some clarity, right? So you will have clarity of thought. It would be clear to the point. It would convey the main ideas and key points only. It will remain neutral and avoid adding personal opinions or interpretation, right? So it is going to be neutral, right? I mean, a neutral tone. It will not have opinions or etc. or your own judgments about it, right? So you have to keep yourself away from it. And it will be accurate, right? So you need to accurately tell about the content. What are the strategies for effective summarizing? You need to be able to read the essay in actively, like actively, you need to engage yourself. Every time you are reading something, to be able to summarize it later on, you need to underline and highlight the important points. You need to identify the main idea and supporting details, right? So just understand what the main idea is, just understand what the supporting details are, right? So always look for the central message, and you need to remove the extra small details, especially examples. Just leave them out. Paraphrasing. Paraphrasing means that even if you need some help from the essay itself, write it in a different like manner. Don't copy as it is. Write it in a different manner. And neutral tone. You need to be very objective, right? You cannot be subjective here. So don't be subjective. Subjective means your opinion. So it does not require your opinion or judgment. You have to be very objective and see what the essay said originally. So what are some of these techniques that we are going to look at? We are going to skim and scan, right? We need to skim for an overview, just so we know what the text is about, and scan for important details. We need to see what the important details are. We need to have a mind map in our mind. So see, whatever, when we are reading, what happens is that either we create a mind map that, you know, this happened and then this happened and then this happened, right? It just sort of visually represents what we are going to talk about, right? So just visually organize all the main ideas and all the supporting details, right? And it would help you understand the structure of the text in a better way. Then we have 5 W's and 1 H. So 5 W's is basically like asking questions. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. So 5 W's essentially are: who was doing this, what was he doing, when was he doing, where was he doing, and why was he doing something, right? And how did he do it? 1 sentence summary. Practice summarizing a paragraph or a text in one concise sentence. So if you remember the tip that I was giving you for your reading part, just summarize the whole paragraph into one line, and that would really make a lot of difference. Do's and don'ts: use clear, simple language, focus on important points, and paraphrase effectively, right? So clear and simple language, that's your first. Important points, just focus on that, and paraphrase. Don't, do not include any unnecessary details or examples that are not related to the main point. And don't copy text directly. Don't just copy it, paraphrase it, make it into your own words, simplify it, right? So the key word here is simplicity. Your summaries should be simple. We don't need a lot of vocabulary in it. We just need small, simple structures. That's all. Common mistakes to avoid: some people, they over summarize, they move away from the core message, they add too many details to it. So don't do that, avoid doing that. Some people under summarize, right? So when I say just add important details, I mean add it, right? If you don't add important details, and you are like not summarizing it properly, um, it will make your summary like non-understandable. The reader would not be able to connect. So you have to really identify what are those key points, right? So here the message is to be able to identify all the key points in a proper manner. Then you have misrepresentation. Ensure accuracy by reflecting the original meaning without altering it. So you need to stick to the originality. It should be original, as said in the essay. Refrain from your personal opinions, your personal conceptions, etc. So we will try to summarize this. Read the following paragraph carefully, and you have to summarize it. The internet has revolutionized the way we access information, communicate, and conduct business. So it has revolutionized the world. It has made the world smaller by connecting people. So it has connected people from different parts of the globe instantly. However, it has also raised concern about privacy. So privacy concerns and security, as well as the spread of misinformation. So these 5 points are my keywords, right? My summary should contain all these things, right? So the internet has transformed, right? So it has revolutionized, it has transformed. It is talking about communication and information access, but also privacy and security challenges. So it has also talked about privacy and security. I could have added something about misinformation if I wanted to, right? Because I could, I could add it. When I'm talking about, it also poses privacy and security challenges, while sometimes misinforming the users. Something like this. Then for you yourself, you can choose a short article or a news story to read, identify the main ideas and key points, and then write a summary. That's all. Just try to write it by yourself and it would become better and better. Now we are summarizing a report, right? A report, it's like a news report or a magazine report, something that you are reporting. So a recent study found that regular physical activity can significantly reduce the risk of chronic diseases. So reduction of chronic diseases. Now here is an example, such as heart diseases, diabetes, and cancer. The study recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week for adults. So we are talking about moderate exercise here. So the keywords are only two: chronic diseases and moderate exercises. So regular exercises reduce the risk of chronic diseases and is recommended for adults. So if you see here, it's pretty concise, it's clear, it's short, it's just in one single sentence, and it is not adding any kind of examples. So all the examples that are here has been omitted. We have not used it. Now we will do a bigger paragraph. It's like a complete essay. So the importance of sustainable energy. Sustainable energy refers to source of powers that are naturally replenished, such as solar, wind, and hydropower. As the global population continues to grow, the demand for energy increases, putting significant pressure on traditional energy sources like fossil fuels. Right? So demand for energy has increased. That is our keyword. Sustainable energy is like natural energy. Fossil fuels are finite resources, finite means that they will end. They're not infinite, they're not unlimited. And their extraction and use have harmful effect on the environment. So harmful effects including air and water pollution and the emission of greenhouse gases that contribute to global warming. So fossil fuel, they contribute to global warming, right? And seems like sustainable energy, it is better, right? It is naturally replenished, so it's unlimited. That is the crux of the first paragraph, right? So I'm essentially just saying that sustainable energy, it's naturally replenished, while fossil fuels, they are not just finite, but they also contribute to global warming. That is my main crux. That's my summary of the first paragraph. Renewable energy resources, on the other hand, offer a solution to these challenges, right? So now renewable energy, they will offer solution, right? Solar panels and wind turbines harness natural forces without depleting resources or causing significant environmental harm. Many governments are now investing heavily in a sustainable energy to reduce their carbon footprint and to ensure long-term energy security. So essentially only one thing here, that renewable energy sources, I'll just write RES, they provide a solution for long-term energy security. That's all. That is the whole crux of this paragraph, and that's the summary. One key advantage of renewable energy is that it is cleaner and more sustainable than fossil fuels. Solar and wind power do not emit harmful greenhouse gases, making them a critical component in combating climate change. Right? So we can just say that renewable energy, it helps to combat or fight climate change. Furthermore, renewable energy can lead to a job creation in new industries, offering economic benefits as well as environmental one. So helps to combat climate change and create new jobs. The initial investment in infrastructure can be high, but the long-term benefits in terms of energy saving and environmental preservation outweighs these costs, right? So just that the initial investment is high. In conclusion, transitioning to sustainable energy is essential for both environmental and economical reasons. So it's like a conclusion. It reduces dependence on finite polluting resources and help mitigate climate change while opening up new opportunities for economic growth. It's essentially whatever is discussed in the whole paragraph. Now, this conclusion is just like, highlighting all the keywords and key points. And that is how your conclusion should be. Now, let's see. Whatever we discussed before in the previous slides where I was giving summary side by side should cover all these points, and it should have at least all these points covered, right? So sustainable energy, I can remove this, include solar, wind, and hydropowers, offer a renewable alternative to traditional fossil fuels, which are limited and harmful to the environment. So in the first paragraph, we discussed about it, and this is exactly what is written here. Fossil fuels contribute to pollution and global warming, while renewable energy is cleaner and reduces carbon emission. Many government, this is like second paragraph, if you remember. They're investing in these alternatives to reduce their carbon footprint and ensure future energy security. Although the initial costs are high, this is the third paragraph. The long-term environmental and economic benefits, such as job creation, make sustainable energy crucial for combating climate change and fostering economic growth. Now, if you see in these few sentences, I am able to convey my message, what was exactly there in this whole essay, right? It was a short essay, it's not that big of an essay, but still I was able to convey in like a couple of lines my whole thought. So again, I don't know why I put the examples here, but you don't have to write examples. So I'm just going to cut it out, right? And that's how your summary should. So what you can do is, again, active reading. While reading the article, the main points were identified and highlighted, right? So we also identified the main points, we highlighted the main points. Sustainable energy is beneficial, fossil fuels are harmful, renewable energy can reduce carbon emissions, and there are economic benefits, right? So we talked about all of those things, we were marking those points. It was concise. So we only talked about the most critical information. For example, details about air and water pollution were omitted, right? So we did not write about that a lot. Um, we just talked about broader harm, right? We just said that it causes harm to the environment, that's all. This keeps the summary focused and avoid unnecessary repetition. We wrote with clarity, so the main ideas were expressed clearly without complex language and extra details. Each key point flows logically from the importance of renewable energy to the environmental and economic benefits. Then we talked about objectivity. We did not give our own personal opinions here, right? We did not say what we think about this. We just talked about what was generally said in the essay. So personal opinions or interpretations were avoided. The summary remains neutral, simply reflecting the content of the article without adding personal thoughts on sustainable energy, right? Then there was accuracy. So the summary accurately reflected the core argument of the article, right? Nothing was misrepresented. And the transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy along with its benefits was preserved. Then paraphrasing. The summary used original language. It did not copy any sentence. We were able to paraphrase it. For example, job creation in new industries was rephrased just as job creation, right? We simplified it, or you could have also said like increase in job or something like this, right? But we did not really copy the exact same thing. So main idea and supporting details. The summary focuses on the main idea, which was sustainable energy as necessary shift from fossil fuels, right? That was the main idea. And it only includes the most relevant supporting points, right? So it only talked about the economic and the environmental benefits that was discussed in the essay as well. So if you have to talk about just one summary practice, it's just like a little, it's a good resource. So if this article needed to be summarized in one sentence, it could be sustainable energy offers a cleaner renewable alternative to fossil fuels with long-term environmental and economic benefits that outweighs initial costs. That's it. That was all that was talked about in this sentence, in this essay. in 3 different paragraphs and then a conclusion. So again, have the tips. You need to read the text carefully. You need to read it actively. You need to use your own words. Do not copy paste it as it is, right? So always paraphrase it. Always try to make newer sentences, newer things. Focus on that. Use your own words, of course, paraphrase it. Don't copy it directly. Focus on the main ideas. Always and always just focus on how you can just cater to the main idea and not swerve here and there, right? Just focus on main ideas. Keep it short. You need to keep it small and short, and that's all. So if you have any questions or doubts, of course, you can get back to me with summary writing. I don't think there should be a lot of doubts related to summary writing, but it can be pretty intimidating at first. You can feel a little bit overwhelmed. But it should be like pretty okay, right? It should be pretty nice. Once you get the hang of it, you will be able to complete it in a better way. So you are free to ask any questions that you have in your mind. I am sure that you will be having some questions. So feel free, write your own summary. If you feel there's any problem, just get back. So let's review what we did today. We learned how to summarize text effectively. We practiced summarizing paragraphs, articles, reports, and one-liners. We discussed tips on how we can effectively summarize different kinds of texts. Um, for you, you can just read a page from the book, you can read an essay, you can read an article, try to summarize all the main points without giving your personal opinion on it. Try to underline while you're reading, try to be as active as possible, underline things, and yeah, underline new vocabulary as well. If the vocabulary is tough, don't use it in your summary, but it's just for your own benefit that you're using it. And that's pretty much it. So I hope there should be no doubts when it comes to summary. Summary writing is a powerful tool, especially when it comes to IELTS, because it really helps you organize your thoughts. It really helps. So once you get into this practice, it will really help you with your reading as well. So it's not just for writing, but also for effective reading. And I cannot stress enough how important summary writing is. So I hope you have a lot of practice of summary writing, and I will see you in the next session.